That sounds more like commiserations rather than celebrations, but I have been celebrating because on the 27th of August, which was exactly 200 days from the first day I took my Mounjaro injection, I have lost 100 pounds.
Fook me, that was fast.
Just over 7 stone, 45, I think, kilograms.
Beg your pardon?
100 pounds, I said. 28 and a half weeks or 200 days. To say I'm over the moon is an understatement. It's a milestone I wanted to hit, and I've hit it, so I'm very happy.
Is he only a goddamn fool, or so stupid he thinks he's accomplished something?
Now, I've been off air for quite a while, a lot longer than Jimmy Kimmel. So, if you'll just bear with me for 30 seconds, I just want to self-indulge in the fact that I've lost 100 pounds. I did it!
You did it!
You did it!
You did it.
No.
No. Fantastic.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
Amazing!
Wow!
I like that. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yes, I do. So for the sake of my regular viewers and my subscribers, thank you again. I don't really want to go over too much old ground. Do watch my older videos if you get time to understand the sorts of things I've been doing and how I got to where I am. But I do just want to reiterate the sorts of things that I found that I needed to do to get to where I am today. So day one, took my first Mounjaro injection of 2.5 milligrams. From day one, I cut out all junk food. Crisps, candy.
I swallowed a lot of aggression, along with a lot of pizzas. Pizzas.
Sweetened fizzy drinks, ice cream, the lot. Just cut it all out completely. I wanted to start a new regimen, if you like, of really just eating healthy foods. I eat salad every single day for one of my meals with a protein on board. And I make myself eat plenty of fibre. I now make sure I eat at least 30 grams of fibre every day, whereas before I was probably lucky if I was taking in 10. 30 grams of fibre, incidentally, is what the recommended daily amount is if you live in a Western country. And I was nowhere near it. Fibre keeps you feeling full for longer, as does protein. And protein's really important. It's definitely worthwhile watching my last video about DEXA scans if you want to understand how protein affects you in middle age, and especially if you're trying to lose weight. So, eating more healthily. I then introduced walking, because at work I sit down for 8.5 hours, barely moving an inch. Sit in my car to come home, sit down when I get home to go on my computer. I was sitting down for hours on end playing online gaming with my buddies. I cut it all out, including the online gaming. I still drop in to see my buddies every now and then, and I do miss them. But I knew I had to be really serious with myself. If I didn't want to be morbidly obese anymore and be at high risk of having a heart attack, of getting diabetes, having a stroke and all sorts of other things, I needed to completely turn my life around. And I'm on that journey now, but I'm just 100 pounds lighter when I do it. I decided to create a mantra, which I talk about in one of my earlier videos. I call it the 4% mantra. So 4% of my day, which happens to be 1 hour out of 24, okay, it's 4.133 or something like that mathematically, but rounded down, 1 hour a day, 4% of your day is all I spent for the first 6 months focusing on my health. It's 20 minutes of walking, 20 minutes for one meal preparation, and 20 minutes for the other meal preparation. So an hour a day is what it's taken for me to get to where I am now. And I found the 4% mantra, that figure, was really, really helpful psychologically. Because 4%, please tell me you don't have 4% of your day that you can't dedicate to yourself to improve your health. Especially if you get to improve it as dramatically as I have. Positive mental attitude's been really important too, and good nutrition has really helped towards that. I made a video earlier on this year about mental health and the positive impacts having a good diet has. I very sadly had to have my dog put down earlier this year, my beloved dog, which was obviously very emotional for me. But I got over the heavy emotional impact of that a lot quicker and a lot better than I think I would have done if I hadn't been eating such good healthy diet, if you like. And please remember, as I've said in previous videos, if you haven't watched them, make sure you do. Mounjaro is not a magic wand. It's a crutch, or at least it is in my eyes. It's a crutch to help and support me while I turn my life around, nutritionally, mental health wise, with exercise and everything else in between. It's been there to help reduce food noise. It's been there to help remove some of the cravings I used to get. If you're middle-aged like I am, I'm 50 years old. I mentioned it in my first video. I used to suffer from depression, had mental health issues. I became lazy. It became all too easy to sit still. I've sat still at work all day, every day. I sit still when I get home from work. I'd be eating donuts and junk food on top of my meals. It just became too easy. And I needed to change it. And I knew I needed to change it. And I went to the doctors and I took lots of advice. And in the end, I went out and bought Mounjaro for myself. Here I am, just over £100 down. So I'm very happy about that. I've got a long way to go, but I want to help you understand how I got here, because it might help you make some decisions you're trying to make now or will do in the future. And it's going to be a midlife transformation. That's what I'm aiming for.